And we're back, compeers, on another exciting episode of Starfleet So Hail, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're talking about
Whistlespeak.
I thought you guys were gonna whistle back.
I can't whistle for.
I can't whistle.
But very bad.
Oh, you guys can't whistle. Oh, you're non-whistlers.
No, I can. No, I can do that. I can whistle. I can whistle in the wrong direction, so I can do this. But that's not the way you're supposed to whistle. You're supposed to whistle
That's
outward.
still
I
okay.
whistle inward.
We all whistle in our own way, each according to our means.
Not doing that again. Yeah.
Computer, translate.
Yeah.
I love how the translation was so stilted in this episode of the Whistlespeak. It was very odd.
It was like it was
kind of
very interesting.
Computer voice, like it is over here. Okay.
Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, audience, we are not exactly live. However, I have it on good authority that Joel is in the chat.
I will be there.
So, yeah, that's
Time
future
traveling.
Joel. Yeah, past Joel, future Joel over there. Past Joel.
I am Cronenberg traveling through time.
I won't be in the chat, but I'll probably be like listening and stuff like that.
You'll be in the chat.
I'll be there in spirit, and Marcel's never in the chat, so we don't blame him. We don't expect
or is he?
So
is he have a nom de plume? Find out tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Here's the thing, guys. I'm always there, but you just don't know it.
That's right.
Oh, I like that.
He's 18 of your followers. That's right.
Would you imagine that making 18 different followers?
Oh my gosh.
He's really me too. I'm not real. I'm Marcelo. This is all
amazing. We are all Marcelo. It's like Spartacus. We're all Marcelo.
I
love it.
So hail and Marcelo.
This couple of quick channel updates. We are obviously recorded right now at 11, and then later at 5 p.m. today, which is Friday, not when we're recording this, but it is Friday when this airs. So later at 5 p.m. I know, exactly. I love it. Later at 5, Trek on the Tube and I will be discussing the Lower Decks episode, A Few Badgies More, is it called? I think. Yeah, it's called A Few Badgies More. So. And then Saturday, I will be doing the Deep Space Nine discussion for what's the next episode called? It's the one with Tanala. I had it in my past prologue. Thank you.
I was taking notes on that.
Yeah, no, it's the one with that Bajoran guy. Spoilers.
Tanala. Past prologue. But anyways, we're not talking about it right now. But that's happening. Also recorded. So that one's at 3 p.m. Saturdays, but it's also recorded.
I'll be there.
Well, but it's recorded. You won't be there, but you might be there at the recording session.
Okay.
No, it's going to be recorded, so you might be there at the recording session.
I'm prepared. I took notes.
Sorry.
Okay, so we'll have a recording session. I have to organize it. I have done a bad job at doing that, but we'll figure it out.
Well, life gets in the way. I mean, it's hard.
And worst case scenario, you guys could send me your thoughts, and I could just include it as a video, which is kind of awesome. I've done that before.
You have puppets
as well,
of us?
so.
That'd be great.
Yeah, that actually Muppets. I would want Muppets, but that would be actually
Custom
really
Muppets
great.
are pricey, but
that's true.
That would be beautiful.
So you guys are just fresh off of the Text Track live reaction that happens on Thursdays, so you got a lot of thoughts that you processed, and I was listening, so I've got a lot of thoughts to process too. And also by now the Salon will have aired, so I'm very curious to hear what kind of unhinged stuff they do. I hope they don't blow this one up and it's still there tomorrow or today or rather or whatever it is.
They've been doing good recently.
Yeah, I think they keep them up recently, unless there's too many problematic gay alerts or something like that, which I caused many of them. When I'm on, I definitely cause.
I caused one the other day, I think.
But yeah, so we're.
Job when you're on.
It's true. I'm a problematic gay. It's true. I don't mind. but today we're here to talk about this pretty cool episode of Star Trek Discovery, Whistlespeak, and do either of you guys want to take a crack at the episode summary? Because if not, I'm ready to go. But I always like to give it to the guest.
I think I could
Joel
try.
should do it.
Let's
Ooh,
synchronize our watches.
Okay. Joel got nominated and volunteered. I like that.
I nominated myself, and I'm really Marcelo too. No way I'm not. It's the other way around.
Yeah.
But
all right, see if you can do it in 2 to 3 minutes. Go.
Okay, so we start with last week's little glass vial of water, and they can't figure it out. And eventually, Michael says, "Use anthropology," and they do. They figured out it's probably water from denobulan weather
manufacturing
controls.
Machines.
They're not satellite. I want to say satellites because that's next. They always talk about those next generation
weather towers.
Yeah. And so they figured out, yes, this is probably denobulans, and there's only one on this trade route of old denobulan stuff. So they go there, and indeed, there's a weather tower. So they decide to go undercover, and Michael and Tilly go down there. And then with the natives, they discover there's a religious ritual to do a 5K race up the mountain. And when you get to the top, you win your sacrifice, which they don't really know about when they start. But and then on the ship, the other plots, that was the A plot. We have Culber and Stamets finally have their talk about, Culber has had this, life-changing experiences, multiple ones. And so he talks, they do a big scan to see if his brain has changed. Stamets says, it's very pretty, but it hasn't changed. It's perfectly normal. So they've had their talk. And then Book wants to do something because they're not finding Maul and Locke. Starfleet sent another ship to go find Maul and Locke. Book's really upset. Culber tells him to go do something to relax. He plays asteroids on a shuttlecraft because 2D graphics are his thing. And vector graphics, maybe it might be old school vector graphics.
I think it was vector. Yeah,
it's like it looked really old school, kind of. I liked it. Very red. And then, other people on the bridge. Adira is still having trouble. She asked Raynor to have more time on the bridge. He's like, okay, and she's like, no, I didn't mean now. Or they said that,
and he's like, there will never be a better time.
Like, I think you're ready. There's guilt about the time bug still, but who doesn't occasionally pick up a time bug on Trill? Come on. You got to just move on. It's not fatal. You're not going to die. No one died in the timey whininess. So then we go back to what is
Helmo. It's like Helno.
I wrote it down.
I
wrote it down twice. Every time I watched it, I wrote it down again because I couldn't remember what it is. It's got that little apostrophe and everything. They go back down there. They Rava, the other person,
the daughter of
the main priest.
She's the daughter of the main priest guy. Yeah. Is it Ovra?
Well, I wrote that down eventually. Ovra.
I think it was Oprah.
I don't think there's a P in it. There's a.
Otherwise,
Ovaz. There's a Z on the end. OHVAH. Yep.
Question. So I'm sorry to jump in
my
here,
time,
Joel. As you're
cutting into his time, but go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead, yeah.
Really quick, judge it.
How difficult do you think it is to come up with weird names for Star Trek, like characters?
That's not a quick question. I think it's not difficult.
I think that's a whole show.
Weird name. Yeah, that's a whole show.
Add an apostrophe, sure, but
let's put a pin in that, Marcelo.
Sorry, Joel.
Let's put a pin in that question, and then we'll go back to it. Carry on, Joel. You're almost done. We're in the home stretch. No pun intended.
Rava collapses.
Sorry.
So it would just be Tilly who's going to get to the end. But Tilly's like, oh, they were so nice to me. I'm going to go take my bowl of water, fill your bowl of water back up. So they each have half a bowl. And now they technically count. So they both win the 5K and get to be sacrificed, which, of course, Tilly didn't know. Meanwhile, Michael is fixing the controls for this tower, the weather control tower, which she does pretty fast. So then Tilly and Rava go into this chamber. Ovra is like, yay, you guys are going to die. Thank you. But it's going to rain, so that's good. So they put them in there. They light all these fires, and then they turn on the machinery from the denobulans, and the oxygen starts going out. Now, they did not learn from Mariner's Salon, what's the first thing you do when the oxygen's running out? Put out the fires. And apparently, Mariner's lesson did not come through because it was after she left, the main timelines. If only she'd read that, they might have helped. But as they are dying,
you should know about it from history, though.
Yeah, that should have been lesson 1
at the academy.
Here's
That's the
lower
problem at
decks
the academy.
file.
That's the real problem
Read
at the academy.
the
Why cadets are not staying.
files. Read the Tilly files. Yes, it would have been great. But so eventually, Michael's like, "Screw it! I'll take." At this point in the 32nd century, I assume it's a small fine to violate the Prime Directive. She's like, "I'll do it. Beam me down." She beams down, convinces him to Ovaz. I'm looking at it. I'm still saying it wrong. To get them out of there. So he knows how to do it. He's got it's sort of like, not quite. It's like how they got the hull off the Cerritos. You got to go in there and pull stuff and turn it and put it back. Kind of Genesis device like, but not quite. So they do that, open it back up, and then Culber and some med teams beam down and save Rava and Tilly from suffocating. And they have to Michael has to explain to them that, yes, we're not gods. No. But this is a piece of technology left by your friendly Denobulans. Like, she holds up a picture of Dr. Phlox, like this fine gentleman here.
She doesn't do that, but yes.
I know. I'm trying to make the go faster by lying. It's not a good thing. But she has to explain to them that this is a piece of technology that's been saving their lives, and they're not saying there's no gods, but like this part isn't directly from the gods. And then Rava had already told Tilly about some of the writings on the wall for these serenity prayers. So she learns these ancient numbers, and one of them was the number 5 written on the little glass vial from last week. So they know to go to because there's 4 more of these towers which are broken. This one is dying, but the other 4 are already dead. They go there and they find the clue for next week with a little card that says, "Please go to here." And I think that's the episode. Did I miss anything major? Maybe.
No, I think you did a good. I think you covered it all. It's a very good summary.
I forgot to take. I didn't. I had 15 more minutes I was supposed to fill though. Shoot.
No, you did it in
right. You did a great job.
To answer your question really quickly about the Prime Directive, I don't think it's going to be a problem this time.
I don't think it will be either.
Because the Denobulans already broke the Prime Directive by doing a humanitarian mission and installing the frickin' towers in the first place. So this would just be like kind of maintenance, I guess, to keep that violation going. And in a way, if you look at the report, she probably fixed a lot of crazy shit that was going on. Plus, they're in a red directive, and I think red directives overrule the Prime Directive because it's a red directive.
That's a lot of red tape, guys. Don't you? That's a lot of red tape, and that's a lot of red tape.
Red directive cuts through red tape.
I was gonna say it's the opposite of red tape. It's the red directive.
Scissors. Exactly. Red scissors.
Yeah, red tape is like holding you back. Here, it's like, oh, carte blanche, break the Prime Directive. You have no problem. It's red marker. It's the red directive. So I really don't think so. Great job on that summary. I'm very impressed. I can never do them that short.
I didn't prepare that either. So
no, it was very good. I like summaries on the fly. By the way, there is a purpose to the summary. One, we do, believe it or not, have a podcast audience. We have a podcast audience, and so it helps them if they haven't. Like, I used to get feedback that some people don't watch the episodes till they listen to the podcast. So if they like the way the episode sounds on the podcast, they'll go and watch the episode. That happens. So
do you still upload these as podcasts?
I'm way behind, like years behind, but yes, eventually.
You should just start uploading the new ones and then work your way backwards too.
That's actually a good idea, Joel. That would be a good idea.
Trying to do it all at once from the backlog that's hard.
I used to have a database boy who used to help me, but
you know what you need?
I haven't had a database boy.
Database boy.
It's true. You know what you need, Cap? You need an audio engineer.
Maybe. Anyways, I'll let you know. I'll let you
Kovich
know,
can do it.
Marcel.
Wait, no.
Kovich can do it. You can go back in time, spend years just doing it. All right,
I'll do it in
let's
exchange for stationery.
let's get
Sweet.
into it. Let's get into it. So
Okay.
the
Our little glass
first, I
vial.
love this scene. I have not seen a scene with like such beautiful cinematography in Star Trek in a long
It was
time, like with the lights
very
and everything. I thought
striking.
it was very cool. Yeah, it was very cool.
It was psychedelic. They did this psychedelic test, and then there's like,
And they
it's
had like
old
the
school
conversation.
'60s because
Yeah,
lights through
yeah, it
liquid.
is.
That's so old school. Yeah,
I
it's not
agree.
Jello, but
But
could be.
but also, I mean, I don't have it screenshotted here, but like it was kind of neat how they all had different. It like kind of played on all of them as they were talking, and it was all different weird
Yeah.
reflections and like light patterns and stuff. Like sometimes it looked like when you shine a projector on a person. I used to love doing that when I was in elementary school, standing in front of a projector, or having someone stand in front of a projector and seeing the like
Oh yeah.
projected image on the person. It gave me some good ideas that I might do for some video projects or stuff like that.
I used to do that with laser pointers and various glassware I put on a table and just
Oh, cool.
see what I could do with it.
But I think the thing that I like the most about the scene is how they what does Michael say? She says, if chemistry isn't the solution, try history and anthropology, which is cool. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze, make it show.
Yes.
I
Once
really,
again, yeah, we work anthropology, her xenoanthropology background into this. What were you saying, Marcel?
yeah, no, just to talk about the opening of this episode, I really thought it was a really inventive way to open up an episode, and
It was.
uh, like Sohail said, um, it's just really refreshing to see these Discovery characters talking like together, talking about an issue. Not to say that we haven't gotten that in Discovery before, but Discovery does exposition or has done exposition in the past on the gun, on the run, while doing something else. So you can't really focus on it.
Yeah.
It's nice to have them all in one static place talking about something that they have to accomplish, or learning about the things that they have to get to accomplish what they're trying to get to. Also, the only reason I'm saying this is because I don't suffer from this, but I did think off the top of my head, for whatever reason, with all the flashing lights, I was like, this is like a possible seizure alert for anybody that suffers through
Oh,
this.
I wonder. There wasn't a
Did
warning in
this
the
one have a
beginning, was
warning?
there?
A lot of the recent
No,
episodes have had warnings.
have had it, but I don't think this one had that warning. If I'm not mistaken, it might
No, I
have
mean,
it.
no,
Yeah.
luckily, I haven't had to. No, I've never struggled with that in my life. But I imagine the people that
No, but I
have
have
that
a
issue,
friend
like,
who, yeah, I have a friend who
Yeah.
has that issue, and yeah, it's a good thing to. I'm really glad they put those warnings up, just about content in
Yeah.
general, because some people are like, "Oh, you're spoiling it" or whatever. But I really think it's better not to have someone have a seizure.
Oh yeah.
That's like...
That episode was short. Yeah. No. Yeah.
no,
yeah. So,
yeah.
yeah, we've
I've
progressed
seen
a
the
little bit.
Andromeda Strain. I know.
Mm.
It's been a long time since I've seen
like
that movie.
like
That's
I
a big
remember,
plot point in the.
yeah, like I remember when the first time. I mean, this is a little off topic, but it's bringing it back to this moment. The first time I saw Incredibles 2, there's a scene in the Incredibles 2 when Elastigirl goes to find who she thinks is the Scream Slaver, and the Scream Slaver has like a Faraday cage surrounded by all these lights. And it's a wonderful sequence, but the scene is it's very in your face because the lights are the
Stroby.
action is happening within the cage, and the lights are all over the place. And I remember that the studio had to put a warning on the film a couple weeks after that, because a couple people who suffer from seizures came out of the screening and said, hey, nothing happened to us while we were in the screening, but it might be a good idea for you to put on a warning to people
Yeah.
that suffer from this. And a couple weeks later, when I went to go see the film again, they had that warning
Hmm,
Yeah. It's a good thing.
that is good.
on there.
What are your thoughts on the scene with Kovich? I'll just say, I think he's very. We had this offline conversation with some friends, and actually Jill expressed this on the text track live that we just saw tonight, which was, like that maybe this is taking a little bit of the mystery out of Kovich, but I think this adds like even more mystery to Kovich. Like I still have no idea what he is, and now he has
more
vintage legal pads and like
which there's no way a legal pad survives in a warehouse for 900 years. It's cheap paper. It's full of acid. You just you buy a good book, it's acid free. This is cheap paper. There's no way it's just gonna last.
So what do you guys? I'm dying to know, what do you guys think is up with Kovich? I saw this thing on. He says I'm resourceful.
He does say that a lot.
I saw this thing on Twitter. For Chris, who edits the videos for Trek Culture, posted comparing this to like other scenes in Star Trek where you've had a white background. And so Q came up, I guess. Yeah. I mean, but
he can't be a Q because that would just be be too much if he was Q.
You know what?
Well, what's interesting is we haven't heard from the Q, and they say it in like season 3, like in
500 or
like
600 years.
500 or 600 years, yeah. So that would place. Yeah,
it wasn't him.
And it was Kovich maybe who said it. Yeah,
I think
he's always giving some intel like that. Yeah. So what do you guys? Maybe he somehow has access to the Q technology, or maybe, maybe the Q technology somehow got on. The mystery of the Q is solved at some point, and they have access to the technology, and that's what this like infinity room is, or whatever. It's like kind of a place where the continuum, a part of the continuum, if you will. Oh, infinity continuum. Interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I think there's some kind of time travel thing. I don't think it's necessarily Q, but he might not be a time traveler. He could be. Or he has access to a lot of other things time travelers have done, which they're not supposed to be doing. But, he's basically seemingly above
There's like a locker.
Every other rule. So, yeah, he might, have a guy who goes back to the 21st century, the Office Depot, to steal him stationery.
Or maybe there's like a locker at the Federation HQ that has like all these artifacts from the Time War, because obviously the time travel is forbidden in this time, but maybe they have all these remnants that are not that old, but that time travelers picked up when time travel wasn't forbidden, or when it
there
was.
Might be national security allowed time travel. That's not the exact words, but that's what I call it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Maybe Kovich isn't allowed to do something. Everyone else isn't, but he's got. A few things, like a red directive, he's allowed to go. And while they're there, they pick him up a stationary legal pad or two.
In this scene, we get a list of names. We've already met Janelle Bix. We've already not met. Well, yeah, actually, we met Janelle Bix. I forgot.
The one we talked to.
Met. The one we talked to. There was Carmen Cho, the Terran. There is Marina Derricks, who we haven't met yet, who's a Betazoid scientist. And I love, Rachel pointed this out, that Marina, after Marina Sirtis, the original,
the greatest
Betazoid. But I'm really curious about this character, and what I hope we get to like find out a lot about them. But anyways, this character, the Nenobulan, this week's scientist was Hitoroshi Creel, which Hitoroshi sounds like a Japanese name, so I'm very curious. Yeah. And then we've already, of course, the whole thing started with Velik, the Romulan. So yeah, that's cool to get all the names of the scientists and stuff like that. So there is only one more clue left, right? Or one more piece left to the progenitor attack.
We get to Creel today.
Yeah.
Derricks is left.
Creel today. Wait, Creel tomorrow, Creel yesterday, but never ever Creel today. Never mind. That was silly.
Beer before Creel. What? I don't know.
That's like the Tilly joke about, you could take the anthropologist or
Creel.
I lost
it. I lost it.
Creel. By the way, you didn't ask me about Kovich. I had a fear on Kovich.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oops. Let's go back to Kovich. Go, Marcelo.
So I think that
speak up, Marcelo. I'm just
No,
kidding.
you should be hosting better. You should be hosting better. You've been doing this longer than me.
Speak
No,
up,
I'm kidding.
Marcel.
You're
Go on, go on.
awful. No, I'm kidding.
This
Guys,
is
I love
casual
this
and
man.
informal.
I love this man.
Casual.
Don't worry.
What don't
Speak
you
up, you.
understand about casual and informal? That's all I gotta say.
Speak up, damn you.
Carry on, carry on.
Just a quick word on Kovich. I love your for your Joel, that he has access to things that Starfleet may have done in the past that are a little bit questionable. I like that theory, but my theory is that he is a version, or he's like he could be like another, like an updated version of the Traveler. And he could have like gotten stuck in this time period and liked it so much that he sort of co-opted the identity of someone who is actually already dead.
Though if he's a traveler, I wish he had a cat. Like the OG.
Yeah.
Or yeah. But he could be a I like that. Traveler.
He could be.
And and also
what if that's Wesley?
Oh God, no.
Wesley
what do you mean?
You're telling me you're telling me Wesley Crusher is masquerading as an old guy with thick glasses in his.
Wesley is his boss. Come on.
Okay.
Or Wesley could be his boss, or Wesley could have just gotten old, had gotten married, and changed.
They're not
his name to
linear.
Kovich.
I don't think they're linear in our timelines.
Do not give this to me. So wait. You're saying that Wesley is David Cronenberg? I can't look at you right now.
I'm just throwing out a wild.
I think he recruited a director from the 21st century to be a traveler, and then he's his boss.
Also, I do want to point out one of the best comments I heard about this episode is this guy I know who watched this episode, saw this episode for the first time, and when Michael came in the room, this guy had this worry about seeing guns come out of nowhere, and have Michael say, "So what do you need, Michael?" And Michael go, "More guns, just more guns."
Oh, that's from
I need to know Kung
the
Fu.
Matrix.
Yes.
I like that. I like that, or as my mom calls it, the Matrix. I like that she calls it the Matrix.
I guess Q did it before the Matrix, but it's still.
Yeah, it's true.
They can share. They can share.
This was really kind of moving to me. This grief alleviation therapeutic that Dr. Culber's working on with Dr. Pollard, and it makes sense to have something this advanced in the 32nd century that can take like I was just thinking about this, like how much do we put on the internet, just us, for example, having these like conversations and like everything we've written on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, every photo, all those things, that's enough for like a computer to impersonate any of us. So in the future, in the 23rd century, when Abuela was alive, they probably had brain scans of her and things like that, and were able to do an even better job at extrapolating a kind of a facsimile or like a holographic other version, like it wouldn't be Abuela, but it would be like a kind of version of it. But it really struck me.
Abuela.
Chat G Abuela, chat Abuela PT. But what I really this scene kind of hit me hard, because I definitely recognize the pitfalls of this kind of technology. But yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of my father's passing, and I was like, dang, like how cool would this be to like just have like just to have that, like, even if it's not, I don't know, there's all kinds of things. Of course, grief and loss is different for each of us. There are universal things, but there's also like very individual things that we experience. But for me, I thought, and I really resonated with what you said, Marcelo, that was cool. But for me personally, I was like thinking how cool it would be if I got to say the things that I didn't get to say to my dad when he was still alive. It would just still feel better to say it to a hologram that was very close to proximity. If it could reproduce just my dad's laugh, his expressions, like that would just be enough to like kind of comfort me. And I thought that was like a really cool thing. But yeah, I saw that some people on tonight's discussion were kind of like taken aback by it or appalled by it and stuff like that. So the reactions could go either way. Marcel, feel free to share again what you shared on the Text Trek podcast if you like, but otherwise, feel free, guys, to share kind of more of your thoughts on this.
Yeah, with me, I think this scene hit me more on the lines of Sohail, because when I saw this, if I had a hologram and I was able to make it to make the hologram impersonate anybody who had passed away in my life recently, I think I would just like to speak to my dad, because my dad never got to see the man that I would eventually become. So I never got that. I never got a chance to have a grown up relationship with my dad, and I think my dad would be very, very proud of the person that I become. So just to get a chance to speak to him, and to hug him, and to tell him all the shit, all the stuff. Sorry, I almost cussed. All the stuff that I never got to tell him would be really, really cool. But I do agree with you, Sohail, that this application can be useful, but whoever uses it has to use it within certain boundaries, and you have to actually do screenings on the individuals that you allow this technology to. You have to do certain screenings when it comes to if you want to lend out this technology to certain people, to make sure that they use it in the way that it's intended, and not to use it in any inappropriate way or nefarious way. But I really think that it depends on the individual and where their mindset is, and I think that's why this scene is so divisive with some folks who obviously have spoken about it tonight.
It could be like a prescription. You could get prescribed to be able to
I
do
was
this
just
by
gonna
your
say the
doctor.
same
That
thing.
kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
There's a
That's like,
gatekeeper, and
right. Yeah.
well, yeah, I was proposing that like maybe you could only have access to this technology after you've reached the acceptance stage of like of mourning or grief or whatever, where
Mhm.
you've kind of accepted that your loved one is truly gone in
Mhm.
that sense, and then this therapeutic might work or whatever. But I'm not an expert on any of that kind of stuff, so
and
I wouldn't know. But I like the idea that it is prescribed. I think that's cool, and it makes sense. These are doctors working on
yeah,
this.
he
It's
is.
Dr. Pollard and Dr.
Yeah.
Culbert.
If I could just say one more thing, I do believe that specifically with so much of our lives being online now, my family will have hours and hours of audio and video to watch of me when I'm gone, and it's really, really a shame that the older folks in my family who have passed away and who are no longer here, I don't have anything of them to remind me of how they laughed or how they spoke. So it's all in my head. So I do
Let's hope.
think that
Let's hope YouTube
yeah,
stays going, keeps
yeah,
going
yeah.
forever. 'Cause, like,
I
otherwise-
so I do think that technology gives ordinary folks like you, me, and Joel the opportunity to become immortalized in a digital sphere, somewhat like actors, with
yeah,
movies. Yeah.
that's a really good point.
But we got to be careful not to use the Ferengi knockoff versions of this.
Right.
Like we
The
saw,
very
like in Lower
doctor
Decks,
version. Right. Yeah.
those Klingon role-playing games that are just knockoffs of
Yeah.
Bartok. Don't use those.
Knockoff. Yeah.
I love that Dr. Culber didn't think that the program was working correctly when he asked about spiritual advice, but then Grandma
It
pulls out of
was.
her
Yeah,
hat like, "Yeah, it was
it really
working
was.
correctly," and she's like, "I also raised you to be a person who values science, and so you haven't scienced it yet. So how can I give you any advice if you don't know what's going on with you physically?" And then he had like an aha moment, and I thought that was really sweet. And that's like kind of stuff that's exactly the kind of wisdom that grandmas gives. So I
Yeah,
was like, that's kind of legit. So felt like a good scene.
that and
Yeah.
I
And
faked all
being
the
Yeah.
from
food.
what's that?
I faking all
Oh,
the
I
food.
faked all the food. Yeah, that's so perfect.
I
But
threw it away.
Also,
growing
yeah.
up in
Also,
Miami and knowing a lot of Puerto Ricans and Spanish and stuff, it was kind of cool to see that reflected. What were you gonna say,
mhm.
Marcelo?
Also, I always have trouble reading subtitles because my brain doesn't work as fast. But I really, really appreciate that this was subtitles, because I do speak another language, and the language that I speak is actually Spanish. So I didn't have to read the subtitles because I knew exactly what it was saying. So
That's
I
cool.
was so happy. It's like, good subtitles I don't have to read for once in my life. Thank
Yeah,
you.
not Klingon.
Yeah, not Klingon.
What did you guys think of Hell No? I mean, Helem No. I don't know why I want to call it.
It was
Hell
beautiful
No.
and
It's the Hell No
scary at the
planet.
same time.
Don't run on Helem No. Don't go on the race. But sorry,
Just
go ahead, Joel.
dust and wind on what, except for a little green dot right over there. Yeah. So yeah, I can imagine how terrible it is to be on the outside, like that one woman is saying she has to dust her orchards, otherwise they won't get sunlight and they'll die.
Yeah, I love the production. In this, you can see that there's like a very little kind of area of green in the center, and it's like a circular thing. And then later on, let me see if I have
at the end. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah, when the shield is restored,
it's
let me
bigger
see.
and clearer.
Here, I can show you guys actually, because technology. But yeah, so you can see, and then it's like a hexagonal shape. It's like very
Like
defined.
before,
and so yeah,
with our 6 photon torpedoes to open up the wormhole.
Yeah, I wonder if the hexagons will have
There's
anything to do
theme.
with
I'm not
this
sure
season.
what else is going on with that, but I did.
And you can see it here too.
Isn't that like on the bottom of Saturn? There's a hexagon.
There is actually something about that, like a hexagonal
it's a storm,
shape,
but it's a hexagonal shape.
like, or an aurora borealis that's hexagonal.
I think it's a storm. It's like the Great Red Spot, but
it's a storm.
Yeah, because they have auroras there too. I've seen pictures of those, but those aren't certain one shape. They're all over there.
I also love this this scene where she's Michael's just so like enthralled by
anthropology.
And what does she say? That the Hellemnites have no social status, like no class system. They have three gender identities, and they prize connection and helping and stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, like can we have Hellemno Society here on Earth? Can we get?
I had to look it up.
Compeer
means companion or comrade. So.
Oh, okay.
It is a word. I had never heard that word in my life.
I had never heard of it before either.
So good for them for pulling out a weird word. Yeah, I love that.
They do beam down, and I thought they made it up for the show, so that was cool.
Yeah.
So they beam down and they get into this. Reminded me of like the Mintakan episode in TNG. And was there a TOS episode where they did that? Like where they? I feel like there was.
I think. I'm. I just
know
this now, but big props for my girl Tilly having a teeny bopper bun.
A what?
A teeny bopper bun on top of her head.
That's called a teeny bopper bun?
Yeah. Like
it is?
Like teenagers who are like 14, 15, they'll take their head, guys, and I promise I'm not a weirdo, but they'll take their hair and like prop it up and like have it like around here.
That feels like an older person thing, Marcelo. At least from
it is
my
older, it is but teeny boppers do that with their hair. And also I do that when I on days when I don't wash my hair. I do that. I like put my.
That's a man bun for you, sir.
Yeah, that's called. I think that's called a man bun. Yeah.
It's a man bun, but sorry guys, took the screen down a weird place. Sorry.
That's interesting. In these scenes, Tilly talks about the academy a little bit and how they're having trouble keeping recruits. I thought that was a really cool little plant, because it kind of gives you an idea of what some of the challenges might be when we get to the Starfleet Academy show, is like recruiting and like, keeping the recruits, keeping it interesting. Like that's a big deal, because like for like over 200 years or however long the burn lasted, was it 200 years, 100 years, 150 years? I forget. It was,
I think it was
something like that.
I think
they basically didn't have a Starfleet Academy. What's that?
Just learn on a ship or something.
I think I'm sorry. I think it was 120.
Oh, okay.
We do get the line here where Tilly asks Burnham, "We could really use you at Starfleet Academy." Hint, hint. We have a show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure Michael will ask, but she won't be on it more than once.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree with what you guys were saying on the Tech Trek first reaction stream about that. Like, it's probably gonna be like a guest role. I would love it if somehow Michael becomes the commandant of Starfleet Academy, kind of similar to like Picard. So we'd see her every now and then, but not like all the time. But I also kind of just want her to be a captain for like however long until the next few movies, and then she could graduate to admiral or whatever.
You know what? You know what? It would be cool. It would be cool if Michael became the dare officer of Starfleet Academy. Like if Michael would show up every once in a while to warn the cadets about the pitfalls and the tribulations of drinking ramen ale and driving space shuttles.
The dare officer. I just got it. That's funny.
And they throw people in the brig when they screw up.
Yeah,
that's Marcello's. Yeah. That's why I don't want Marcello to get the progenitor tech. I don't think it'd be safe.
Oh my God.
Like people were all like, let's give
officers everywhere.
People were all like, let's give the progenitor tech to Marcello. He's so worthy. No. I'm like, nope. No, don't do it. Don't give it to
With great power comes great responsibility.
Right. Or in Marcello's case, with great power comes imprisonment for lots and lots of people.
Everywhere.
Brigs everywhere.
Superhuman screws on every corner of the.
Or on the rare occasion where he's just like straight up murder this person.
Yeah,
we've had that too for Marcello. It's like, yeah. So no, please don't give Marcello the He governs. He has to govern his passions first.
Yes. But actually, but with this final season, specifically with this scene where Tilly mentions to Michael, you should consider possibly teaching at the academy. I really wonder if they knew like ahead of time if this was a final season. I wonder if the writers or anybody on the production team had the idea of making a backdoor pilot for the Academy series if they knew that this season was going to be their swan song, basically. So
I don't think they knew this was going to be the end, but they knew to pimp up Starfleet Academy.
Right. Okay.
I think they found out that. Sorry, guys.
Arthur, what are you doing?
I think they found out like it was the last season. You know,
they'd done shooting
after filming.
Yeah,
because they had the whole issue of
they were on the cruise.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Doug Jones found out on the cruise. We were done shooting.
Right, and so then they went back and like reshot
like 15 minutes
scenes.
What I'm trying to say is, would you guys have liked a backdoor pilot in this season of Discovery, like have an episode that was sort of like isolated away from the main story, just to give us a taste?
Knowing it's the last season, I think this kind. Well, I mean, I think this kind of thing is all right, and I do think, Marcelo, that the backdoor pilot was that Tilly episode with the cadets. That was already the
ice planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
Is that what you think too, Joel? The ice planet one?
Oh yeah, because that one was
okay.
That stood apart and
okay.
And they don't need another one. And because they did what New Eden for Strange New Worlds. That was basically a pilot.
Yeah. That was a.
And I forget the name of the episode with the ice planet and Tilly in the shuttle. And the diverse students.
I forget the name.
We see again.
My hot Orion cadet is in that one.
Yep. And the Tellarite and the.
Yeah.
Right.
That was a really good episode, actually.
It was.
I
really liked it.
That's the episode that like got everyone like wanting a Starfleet Academy show actually to be set in the 32nd century. I was like, after that episode, I was like, I kind of want it to be set in the 32nd century. I want to keep going in this century.
It also really illustrated to me how much Tilly has grown as an individual, because she was pretty forceful, and she was really put together in that episode.
Kudos to Mary Wiseman. I hope she gets. I hope it's announced that she's the lead or a huge part of.
Yeah, she still has to dance around that in every interview. She's like, I can't say anything about that, which is basically a yes, but I can't.
Yeah, Mary Wiseman rules in so many different levels.
So we talked about how Book has nothing to do, and Stamets and Culber go on a neuro scan date.
And then they have a talk finally. Yay!
They finally talk. I
They
know
should
it's
bring
kind of weird
coffee
that
to their
they.
neuroscan date, though. It's just too awkward without a drink.
It's true. Yeah, but it would elevate your like some kind of synaptic response.
Oh,
or
they can.
whatever.
It's the 32nd century, and they really
I
made
like.
her look dusty, didn't they?
I called her actually.
She's great.
Dusty lady.
She's great. I really like this actress.
Yeah, she's super awesome. And so was the actress who played Rava. I thought they were all great. Everyone on this planet was super convincing. And it did have that kind of Ren Fair vibe, but like in a good way. Like, you know, like, it kind of had the Zelda vibe.
Not enough turkey legs and like giant goblets of alcohol.
But I appreciated
the bowl
the
should have been
cadence.
alcohol. If it was a Ren Fest, they wouldn't have been water.
I appreciated the cadence with which they spoke and the manner and everything. I thought it was very convincing. What were you gonna say? Or are you just laughing at Joel's joke? That's the best thing about having Joel on is all the laughter.
No.
Your jokes are great.
I was serious, damn it.
No. Joel has some great jokes, but I was laughing. I was laughing because of what Sohail said like 30 seconds ago. You were talking about the scene, and you were like, "Oh, we have a scene between Culver and Book, and Book has nothing to do." And I was like,
"It's true. He has nothing to do." He's like on pins and needles. He's playing video games. And even Culver's like, just chill out, get your energy for when we do need you.
I wish he was putting in his initials on a top 10 though. That would have been cherry on top.
It's like Book. We don't have anything to do, so here's a cup of coffee and some pencils. Go in the corner.
What'd you guys think of the sound cure? And have you ever played with one of those
singing bowls? Yeah, they're
singing bowls. Yeah, they're pretty cool. Like, they do have like a calming. Yeah, I think so. They do have like a calming property to them. Yeah, I have one. I should have pulled it out for this.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, talk while make it show. I'll be right back.
Make it show.
This scene was very reminiscent to me of someone who who has a problem with Vertigal with what's the Vertigo, right? That's it.
Yeah.
Some cure, like I've seen some people online and some people in my actual life who suffer from that. They'll take a bowl and they'll do what he's about to do, and it'll just like that motion will stabilize their inner ear, so the vertigo is not so bad.
Oh, really?
I've never heard that. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't hear it anymore. I heard it at first.
Yeah. There you yeah. I don't know how that works, but several people in my family have done that, and it's like a family thing. It's like a family secret where it's like the oddest thing. I should ask them about that one time. Like how they do that.
Well, I like it because it has like a calming effect. I mean, I can only imagine. Like, I kind of want to try having like 10 of them around me. Like it kind of like might be a neat
with the resonant frequency to do a certain thing. Yeah.
Right, the resonant harmonic frequency, exactly, which is what this kind of the sciencey stuff that this kind of taps into, which I thought was really cool. And I thought it was interesting because it plays on what you were talking about, how like technology is just different. Like, we all think of technology as like chips and screens and circuit boards, but like that is technology. They're using
they needed
kind of tech. Yeah, and it's like, so it's just interesting how like it all ties in later on, with the conclusion of this episode. But yeah,
good. And
go on.
I'm sorry, Joel. And this planet seems to. I'm sorry about that. This planet seems to operate on the belief that our medicine is more spiritual, and our medicine tends to go towards the more metaphysical than actual chips and stuff like that. So I do like that about this episode.
It's not only that; it's just very practical. It was a practical way they discovered to deal with living with this dust, and especially they have to
Right.
dust their
Yeah.
orchards or plants in order for them to keep growing. So they had to be around
Right.
the dust, and then
Mhm.
they figured out a
And
way to live
and
through that.
and Ovaz is kind of like the spiritual leader slash medicine man, and oftentimes in those ancient cultures, like the spiritual leader was also the scientist or the wizard, or
Yeah,
just like the person who had the hidden knowledge or the secret knowledge or whatever, like, which is not so secret, like, like once you look at what it actually is, which is pretty cool. So I loved all the stuff that World built this society, like that
I
gave us
love
all the
this
world
here
building.
where you see them stretching in the background before they run.
Yeah, yeah,
I thought,
it's
like, oh,
really
that's a good
legit.
idea. You're gonna be doing your 5K to possibly die. You should
What
really
a
stretch.
handicap, though. They give you this like freaking salt tablet
I
or
wrote down
whatever. Like that's
potion of
that.
thirstiness. It's just like in D&D. They're like, oh my, you drink this, now you're thirsty.
This did feel like a D&D adventure, kind of. It had that, like, the
Well, the whole
vibes
Red
of
Fair,
that
yeah,
for
they're
sure.
kind of
Yeah,
those are
yeah.
really close things.
But yeah, Burnham makes the request unknowingly,
She's like, I
and so
want to
they
talk
have
to the
to.
gods. You don't have to talk
Yeah,
to
I
the
want to
gods.
get. Yeah,
No, no, I
everyone's
want
like,
to. Okay.
everyone's like, it's all good. Don't worry about it. But she's like, nope, nope.
I
But
wanted to do
of
this my
course.
whole life. Well, okay.
But
We're
the
from
thing
out
that's
east.
funny is
Oh, okay.
the funny thing about it is that, like, what she was saying made sense to them, because it's kind of like their
Yeah,
whole.
I could see
It's
that.
like the ultimate devotion, right? Like, it's like, oh
She was
yeah, oh,
teetering on not making sense, but yeah, it worked out.
it worked out, yeah. So, but not to the way that they had hoped. But alas. Then we get Adira and Rainer on the bridge, and I
I
thought
like
these
that
were really
picture. It
good.
looks like Rainer's on Love Boat in that inset picture. This little circle.
I hope
That'd be great.
Marcelo's okay. He's disappeared, but that's okay.
He's
That's
going to
Cam.
the Love Boat too. So
Okay. He's going to
I'm
love
good.
it.
Just kept the water. I'm good.
there we go.
I can believe, and I can't believe that I thought that Adira no longer had tall, and it's because
She
of what
doesn't
y'all
act
said
like
today.
she does.
Right,
It's true.
right. And we haven't even heard I think Adira is not
It is
non-bi.
they. Did I say it wrong again? I've been saying it wrong all
You
evening.
said she.
And then I
That's okay, as long as
remember.
you're trying. It's not a big deal as long
I'm
as you're
trying.
trying. You're trying. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. But Adira, I think that's like definitely a critique that I would have to give, is that, like, there's not now there are complications. Adira is a human,
Yep.
so that might make things differently, but it felt like in season 3 that there was more communion with the tall symbiont beyond just Gray. I felt like Adira was
Yeah.
using more of the symbiont, but you're right. It doesn't feel like it feels like well, they haven't mentioned it, so the symbiont just feels forgotten.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I thought, but I looked it up, and sure enough, the symbiont's still there. And you're right. There was that whole ceremony on
Gray is more
Trill.
confident.
Yeah,
Gray
it's
has
weird.
the
It's
confidence of 300 years. Adira
right, which
does not.
right.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah,
strange. And
yeah.
obviously we won't get it addressed, but yeah, it's like I don't think we'll get it addressed with like
I
a few
doubt
more
it. There'll
episodes
be something
remaining.
more with Gray and Adira, but
Maybe. But what were you
Yeah,
saying, Marcel?
unseen.
No, I just want to echo a little bit of what I said earlier tonight on Text Track. I think Adira and Gray as a whole concept in the show they've been vastly underwritten, and I think that the writers missed a really really interesting opportunity to use Adira as a character and do some really interesting stuff with her, because you said it yourself. You said it yourself. So hell, she's a human who has a symbiote in her, and for them to create a character like Adira and Gray, and to have characters like that who have so much promise, but to not use them correctly, really, really, as a writer, has drove me insane. Because I'm like, you guys wanted us to feel something when they broke up and they had that conversation.
Yeah.
We would have felt something if you would have actually took the time to develop their relationship as characters. Like they did none of that. They just said, They just said these are two cool characters, and they expected us to do all the writing work on our own and make up our own story for how their love story goes. I'm like, guys, that's not the way that you structure characters. Like what? Like how? Yeah, it's just very frustrating.
I just had a thought though. We have what 4 more episodes. Maybe someone uses the progenitor tech to make Adira Trill, and then she acts like Jadzia. She has total access to all of the other memories. If that's what the end product is, then this middle part that makes no sense works. If that's not the end product, then it really doesn't.
But I feel like they forgot about it since season 4. And
hold up.
It's like it just feels like they forgot all about that.
They could fix it, but I doubt
it. Hold up. Did I? Because I'm operating under the assumption. I'm going. Does she already have one? I thought she already had one.
She doesn't.
Yeah,
but she's a human, so it doesn't work the same as Jadzia and Ezri.
Right. Adira's human, so it doesn't have to work the same.
So before she had almost no conscious memories when we first meet them, but then she go to Trill and then has access to the other Tals and all that stuff. But it still doesn't seem to work like Jadzia and Curzon and stuff.
Right.
Maybe they just do Gabo. I don't know.
Maybe. Here's the scene where they have the perfect brain, and then of course the scene with Dusty Lady and Michael. And after we get the reveal, you're like, oh crap! Like they were trying to warn. She was trying to warn Michael.
Talking about her friend long ago who won.
It's like sad.
I wonder what she would be like if she was old. Yeah,
it was. I know.
It's sad.
It is pretty sad. I can't think of any current societies, even though I'm sure it still goes on to an extent in some like tribal situations, but human sacrifice must have been a crazy thing. Like sacrificing to the gods was a regular practice in humanity at one point, and I'm just thinking like, damn, like what a way to go. That's like so terrible. It's like I couldn't. No, I'm glad we've moved past that for the most part. But yeah, here they are getting ready for the race, and then later on in the race. Yeah, I love that shot. That's why I put it in there.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite shots from the trailer.
Yeah,
the
I can finally
get into that, but
I feel like I can now cosplay as someone comfortable, like a comfortable cosplayer. You just put on a bunch of like pieces of cloth and like ropes and like a little painting on your forehead, and you're all good. You're a compere. It's like
you're just 15th place compere. It's
15th place compere.
I had to duck out early. I couldn't do it. It's all good. You have a bowl with you.
I love that Adira helps kind of gains their confidence and helps Burnham figure out the tech. But I also love that Burnham scanned this thing and beamed it to the ship, and then you see Adira physically like pick up this hologram, put it in front of them, and start like trying to figure it out. So there's like a lot of cool stuff going on there with this kind of scene. And then also you have the layer of Raynor kind of coaching on top of that, which was pretty cool. And then here's the kind of tragic scene. I left the subtitle. Let's go meet the gods together.
She says innocently. Yes.
Innocently. Like, it's so sad.
She's like, let's go die. Let's go die.
What? Huh?
And like poor
come again? Sorry.
Poor Rava must just be like, wow, like this person's so positive about what's gonna happen. They're like
she's so in touch with the gods.
So with the gods, like it's so funny. But ignorance is bliss, isn't it? And
Ovaj's just like, Rava, you were out. You were out.
Yeah, like Ovaj's like,
she should have just been the referee and been like, nah, sorry.
Ovaj is like, I hate my life. My wife, I hate my life right now because my wife did this, like, and now I'm reliving it all over again. And just when
had a whistle, he could have done that. He could have just been.
And just when he had the hope that his daughter was safe,
gonna live, yeah. And then this woman from out east is gonna be like, oh no, here's some water.
Here's Oh god, it was terrible.
She still spilled hers.
In a good
I don't
way.
know how it counts. Judges,
I like
ruling?
Rainer's. I like Rainer's proud expression here. That's why I left in this screen chat.
I made her do stuff.
The episode gets really intense really fast,
yes.
as things do. And
as soon as Tilly says, "There's no clue here," then you're like, "Oh man."
So this is pretty big because, like, I think we're gonna see a lot of chatter about the Prime Directive and stuff like that. What would you guys have done?
Repeat the 5 Serenity prayers, and you'll feel better about violating the Prime Directive.
What would you guys have done?
Oh yeah, no, they did the right thing. The Prime Directive is not moral or ethical in almost all situations. In some it is, but it's not.
Prime Directive, schmontinuity, continuity. I would have said, okay, I understand that the Prime Directive is a thing, but in this situation and only in this situation, I would go the greater good. And if anybody gave me shit for it, I would go, Catherine Janeway broke the Prime Directive so many times that I can't even count. So
so you would have saved me if I were in the thing.
Oh hell yeah!
Unless you were first place and then you die.
Absolutely. You know.
Drink that water.
Like if I am a high-ranking officer on a ship and one of my crew is in mortal trouble, the hell with the Prime Directive. I'm gonna go after them.
Just do a night court sentence, $50 in time served. And then there you
go. Because I do believe that those people that serve in Starfleet are only as good as the people that they have around them.
But as I said earlier, I think in this case, the Prime Directive was already broken by the Denobulans, and so this is kind of like, and it kind of that action, not with any. I think Rachel brought up a good point, which is they probably had it on their books to go and maintain these things, but the burn may have caused a huge kind of like lapse in those maintenance trips or whatever. And so, and that would be neat also, by the way, to see Denobulans completely alter themselves to look human, because they'd have to like blend in, or maybe they use cloaking technology or something when they go and do the maintenance cycles or whatever.
And remember how much Dr. Phlox liked doing that kind of stuff, like other culture ceremonies on Enterprise. He loved it.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. It might be something, cultural in the Denobulans as well. That's true. But yeah, so it makes sense, and it's crazy because it just shows like what they're doing now was not what was intended at all. Like, so it's already the civilization's already off track from how they would actually they would all be
been
gone.
Dead.
Yeah, Helmo would have been gone, but the fact that like the Denobulans interfered in the first place. So I think that, again, when the trial happens, Marcelo, which it will off screen, by the way, you're not going to get a trial episode.
Yes, I love the trial. Come on.
I know you love the trial episode.
You know what?
We're not going to get one. I predict.
Have the novelization.
Yeah.
You know what? I will forgo my wedding if in the last couple of weeks of Discovery they give me a drumhead style episode.
A little bell.
If they do that, I will lose my mind.
Marcelo, there's not going to be a trial.
Oh,
they're going to be all right. It's all going to be all right.
We need the spin-off. Starfleet Legal.
Yeah.
The people are represented by
or Star Trek, Star Trek,
and Order.
Legals.
Doink doink.
Yeah.
But I have to say that this kind of conversation she has with Obaz in these scenes, like, I love the time that they spent on it because it made it feel earned. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't just like a wave of the hand. Yeah, it felt really earned.
He's overwhelmed.
Right. It reminded me of like Lily in First Contact and like all these other kinds of scenarios or the Mintakans, like, but this time it's so cool that like I love it when Star Trek like does a new variation on something that they've done before. And this is definitely a new way of looking at it. And I love that I think this is the first time where I've seen the Prime Directive as like being violated, but in a way that like 100% without doubt makes sense. Like that was the only
At half
call,
the
and like
times,
the
I
way
think it makes sense.
maybe, but maybe there's I feel like all the other times I debate, but here I have no debate. Like there's no
You
debate for
want
me,
Wesley
but maybe
to
it's
die
just.
for walking on the grass? No.
I mean, that was kind of. I think the whole well, we won't get into it, but I think the whole premise of that was like ridiculous. I can't believe there's a society that would just kill you over like a flower.
To
But
the
whatever.
brig!
It's
To the brig, forget death, lock him up for life. Yes.
and also that's not a prime directive violation because that society knew like what was weird about that is that the Enterprise, they knew there were people from space. Like, you know what I mean?
They were
Like,
warp capable. They could talk to them, but
yeah, so it wasn't like
Yeah,
it wasn't like the
yeah.
same thing. But I will just say for this episode, I loved it. I loved the acting, the performances, the whole episode just like moved me. This moved me personally so much. And like, I kind of was like, I want to be Obaz. Like I just kind of want like aliens to come and tell me everything's gonna be better. Like, and I love that it didn't discount his faith or his beliefs, but she was like, there's your beliefs, there's nothing that says those aren't real, but there's also this, like the whole concept that Discovery kind of has presented since like season 2 about two truths can exist.
yeah,
you don't have to like
spiritual and
demolish
intellectual. Yep.
right, you don't have to demolish all other truths just to have one singular
what?
truth. I think that life is varied in such a fashion that you can have multiple truths existing at once. What were you gonna say, Marcel?
You know what this episode reminded me of is two things. First of all, I just want to say real quick that I really like how this episode played with religion and what it does to us and what it does to a specific isolated society and the things that they will do because of the things that they believe will make them better. Secondly, this episode reminded me of the episode I think it's called the Red Hour, where where this civilization prays to an alien being called Landru, and it turns out to be a computer. But also, I had that serious thought for a second, and then because I'm such a big Lower Decks stand, not stand the person, stand. I automatically went to the Lower Decks episode where Captain Freeman goes down, and she's so frustrated with the society who have reverted back to praying to the thing that she actually gets a sign made up that says, "Do not pray to this thing." Like just so funny. I'm sorry, guys.
That's the return of the Archons, by
Yes,
the
I was
way,
just
from
looking
the
that
original
up
series.
because I knew
Yeah.
that wasn't the
Yeah,
name, Red Hour, but
Thank you
Yeah,
for
but there is the Red Hour. Very nice. So
second contact, very important.
second
contact.
cut is very important.
Oh, they should
Otherwise,
have
they're
a
worshiping
second.
Landru again.
I wonder what the
Yeah.
32nd century Cerritos looks like. That might be a neat thing
That's a good idea.
to visualize.
Good
It'd be
idea.
gigantic. I know that because all the ships are gigantic.
No, and
I like this shot of the little tower and stuff like
Those
that.
towers are beautiful,
and the rain.
I would actually, yeah, I just real quick, I would actually really like to find out what happened to Bradward Boimler. Like, did he actually get to, be a commander on a ship, or did he end up doing something within Starfleet that was a little bit more, behind the scenes, helping other people?
spoilers.
I think he starts in OnlyFans because of all the attention he
Oh
gets
my
towards
God.
his body.
You know
But,
what? You know what? Brad would do that.
He would. I think so.
I did Photoshop a raisin over the Boimler pose with the black box.
I remember.
Mike McMahon liked it, so that's my moment of fame.
Yeah.
Oh, well, oh yeah.
Sorry.
That mountain could work for the Boimler pose. If you put, you could transfer. Never mind.
I love this little
asteroids. Yes.
I love this little scene. One of the most profound things that I got from this scene, which I had never thought about, was when Book says it's an odd quirk that humans think it's less meaningful if it's just for yourself. And I was like,
what a
that
line.
is like,
what a
yeah,
line.
what a great thing. And it's like, it reminds you that Book's not human, which is great.
Yeah.
But it also just like kind of gives pause, and I'm like, yeah, like why do we always need to validate everything with another person's reaction? It can just be for yourself and like enjoy it or like explore it, like it's cool. Like it doesn't have
We
to
need
be
the likes.
yeah, the dopamine that maybe
We need, yeah.
Quasianians don't have the dopamine that we get from
We
the likes
need
stream.
we need people to love us. We need people to love us, and we need people to validate our opinions, because if they validate our opinions, that means they're actually real. Yeah. But
That's true.
but I
Yeah.
do think,
Yeah.
I do think that book brings up a great point, that just because you have different ideals than somebody else, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're wrong. It just means that you have different ideals, and your ideals don't have to be validated by somebody else to make them to make them more concrete. If you believe in them, then they're concrete. Then they're everything that they need to be. But where people mess up, I believe, is when they believe that their ideas need to be validated by other individuals other than themselves. So, yeah.
To a degree, we do need to bounce stuff off of other people, like especially when we're learning and stuff like that. And I can
Right.
understand that. But I think it specifically, it was here where, he was like, so like, what if Paul didn't understand or didn't get it? And he's like, but he's my partner. And that's the part I was talking about. It's like, we kind of always like feel like we have to include others, like our loved ones or whatever, in our moments that we're having or in our experiences. But I think there is merit to having experiences that are just for us. There might be a
Mhm.
richness to that that's worth exploring, and I think that's what it is. But I do still think that, like, validation and bouncing ideas and stuff like that is important, because we might learn something from that as well. So there's a good counter argument to be made. But I think also a balance, I think, is what we really need in life. And I think it's good. I know I've had some experiences that, like, and some experiences you can't really even describe, like,
Yeah,
proper,
that's
like,
another
you know what I
thing
mean?
too.
Like,
You can
and
try,
I
but it
think
doesn't get there.
it doesn't get there. So I think those experiences, it's okay to just have them for ourselves and just, kind of like in that manner. But yeah, I think that's the end of the episode. We're off to see next stop, Mall and Lock. Very exciting. I can't wait to talk to you guys next week and see what happens.
Indeed.
It's called, I think the episode's called Eriga, which is the name of the blood oath, right? Or whatever.
Yeah,
So
it's
yeah.
on
So
top of Lock. Yeah.
yeah, very exciting. I can't wait. Any closing thoughts and ratings? We got to give our ratings. I'll go and say another tenner. Just another 10 episode. This is a classic. I think this is an episode that I'll enjoy watching, randomly over again here and there. And yeah, I think we pretty much said I pretty much said what I needed to say about this episode, so I won't give any closing thoughts this time. I'll hand it off to you next, Marcelo, and then Joel, you can close us out.
I thought this episode was a really, really good watch. I really liked the way that it played with religion. I really liked the way that it sort of played with the Prime Directive, but didn't break the Prime Directive. Well, it kind of did. I really like this episode, and the reason why I like it, it just felt like a really, really fun classic episode of Star Trek, and I really, really like seeing the civilization again. And yeah, it was just an overall good episode that really, really did a good job of pushing the story forward and not keeping us in limbo like we've been in earlier seasons. There are things about this episode that keep it from being as high as Sohail put it. So with that in mind, I will give this episode a 6.
Well, I will give it a 10 as well, because it was a great episode, and it's also nicely enough. It's standalone enough, like Sohail said, that you can definitely rewatch this on its own, just for the story here, without having to take in the entire story of season 5 here with the clues and whatnot. Because the stuff on the planet is amazing, and also the character moments we have back on Discovery are great too, with Stamets Culber and Book and his beloved asteroids. So yeah,
Very nice.
definitely.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for helping me out and
It was a
recording
pleasure.
this stream tonight. This is very nice. I'm glad the audience gets to have a stream on Friday at 11 a.m. I hope you guys had fun.
Time travel to the chat.
Don't forget to give us if you made it this far, don't forget to give us a like
and subscribe.
And subscribe and share. We're gonna if we can start getting some YouTube monies here, I can start paying these guys something, or just, like giving them gifts or something. I don't know. An Erica. I just no Ericas. Don't worry.
Pay off my Erica. That's
you can pay. We can pay off our Erica. We can pay off our Erica. That'll be our.
There you go.
There you go. That's amazing. But anyways, I had so much
Hell's
fun.
been on the run for 10 years.
For 10 years, it's true. Without a mall, I've just been.
You need a mall.
I need a mall. It's there we go. But we look forward to seeing you guys later on today at 5 p.m. And then don't forget, tonight at 8 p.m. there's the Text Trek deep dive, and I don't think there's going to be an After Dark tonight. Sorry guys, but there might be. We'll see. There might be. X-Men. Did X-Men 97 end? Did they have their last episode yet?
There was an episode. I think it was the last one. I don't remember.
I am one behind, so I don't know if this is the last episode.
If Fathery has seen X-Men 97, then I think we can have an After Dark, because that's like the biggest thing.
Yeah, well, I don't mean.
And y'all have to catch up on it.
Well, I don't mean to throw our friend under the bus, but I was ready last week.
Hey, we're all ready at different times. Maybe we'll all be ready together this time. Let's hope. We'll see.
Okay.
It's all casual. It's all casual.
Casual and formal. I know.
Fathery's a busy man too. You guys are all busy. I'm surprised you guys can give any of. We can all. We'll make it work. We'll make it happen. Don't worry. It's all good.
We'll make it show.
We'll make it show. It's true.
There we go.
But stay tuned for that. And then tomorrow we'll see you guys on the Deep Space Nine discussion, which I have to figure out as well. So.
The greatest cold opening in Trek.
Oh, yeah.
Garrick and Bashir. That scene. Yes.
It's really good. It's legit.
I forgot that was episode 2. But
well, or episode 3, depending where you're watching it.
Well, 3, remember, I counted in 3.
It depends.
In the moment,
but the original airing, it was episode 2 when we originally got.
Because the first 2 were one night, but
one night.
Oh my God, that's right. That's right. The opening to this episode is so good with just Garrick.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's the best.
It's so great.
All right, live long and prosper.
I'm so glad
everyone.
I made a friend today. With everyone who's watching.